It's the Riot Podcast, the Tuesday, December 5th edition. Today on the show, Kiss, ABBA, and being cringe on a first date.
We also talk about some of the worst movie and TV dads, as well as why I have an issue with Christmas Vacation.
Isaiah has a controversial opinion on it that has a surprising amount of support, I would say.
It's a pretty popular movie, pretty popular Christmas movie.
It is.
And I'm calling it into question.
Yeah. And as you will hear in the segment, and you can make up your own mind, but I was surprised to see how many people are on your side with this controversial take.
I loved it.
I don't know if there's anything else to add.
It was a good podcast.
It sure is. You'll see for yourself here. Enjoy. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot, RadioU.
Howdy, Isaiah.
Good morning.
We're about 15 minutes out from Useless Knowledge. Also, our Riot Christmas party coming up next Thursday night on the RadioU Riot Facebook page and YouTube channel. Join us live for that. Isaiah, would you compare yourself to a golden retriever?
In the way that they talk about on TikTok, I would probably say yes.
Yeah, you think so?
More than a German Shepherd or considered a Rottweiler boyfriend, probably not.
I haven't seen anybody describing guys as Rottweilers or German Shepherds, but I can imagine. Although German Shepherd that's a pretty good dog breed. If you haven't seen Golden Retriever men, Golden Retriever boys, they are what's desirable right now, according to the ladies. A Golden Retriever man shares many of the traits that you might expect to find in a Golden Retriever dog. Sweet, gentle, affectionate, eager to please. Some say easy to train. And you're thinking of examples of Golden Retriever men. How about none other than Travis Kelce is considered a Golden Retriever man. So we
don't know a thing about this man.
You're saying that you are similar to Travis Kelce.
I don't think I'm similar to him at all, actually.
Then how can you be a Golden Retriever boy?
Because I know myself, I know my character traits. Me and Travis Kelce, don't think that, and I wouldn't consider him a Golden Retriever boy at all.
Why not?
He's pretty edgy.
He seems pretty gentle.
You think he's edgy? In the NFL, he's a pretty edgy guy.
Well, you
kind
gotta
of a trash talker, celebrator.
You gotta have an edge on the field, but that's a different, the way you are at work is different than the way you are.
If you know his history, at Cincinnati, I kicked off the Bearcats football team, so that doesn't sound very Golden Retriever-esque to me.
Yeah, but he's a different guy now.
Got it. Yeah, he's better now.
Yeah.
Good boy.
You probably have your foibles from college too.
I never got kicked off anything.
How about if he's not a Golden Retriever, how about Shawn Mendes?
That seems more Golden Retriever-esque.
I mean, familiar with Shawn Mendes. I don't know much about him, his persona as a person.
Very gentle.
I know he's a Lyle crocodile. That sounds Golden Retriever-y.
Doesn't it?
Tom Holland. Could you think, is there anybody more Golden Retriever-y?
He's very Golden Retriever-esque.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That might be the best one.
Yeah, that's a good. Although I'm starting to get that these Golden Retriever guys just seem like guys that are kind of locked down with a lady.
No wonder.
Yeah. I guess, because of their Golden Retriever traits.
Makes sense.
Or could it be that once you have, once you're a young guy in a relationship with a desirable woman, then that also makes you, therefore, desirable to other women.
That also could be.
Could be.
If you're rich and famous, that's another part of it, I think, too.
That's right.
Tom Holland.
So wait, what is I'm not familiar with the Rottweiler
the difference is, and the TikToks that I've seen, there's Rottweilers and German Shepherds, which seem to be described similarly, which is more of an edgy guy, not quite like the Golden Retriever seems a little bit more outgoing, ready to please, where the German Shepherd a little bit more independent.
Yeah.
Not as much all over you affectionate-wise, kind of not like a lone wolf, but just a little bit more of a stern voice.
Yeah, but possibly a protector though.
Yes. Very much so.
German Shepherds, good guard dogs, right?
Yes.
It's usually what the police have. So if that's what maybe that's more your style as a lady. I'm not sure. Well, Golden Retriever guys, that's what the people are after, apparently.
It's what's in.
Yeah, so start modeling yourself as a man after Golden Retrievers if you want to have some success in life.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
We're in the midst of useless knowledge. Isaiah has your Walt Disney themed question.
Which of these snack foods was originally created at Disneyland?
Oh, it's multiple choice?
It could be. I have some options here if you'd like them.
That
You can
doesn't
do
seem,
it.
this is useless knowledge. That doesn't seem in the spirit of the season. I am going to guess what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Disneyland came up in what, the 60s, 70s? Somewhere around there.
That's not one of the questions I have ready. All right.
But I think that, it's not that old. So I first was thinking like beef jerky or Cracker Jack, but those things are too old for Disneyland.
Something new, you might
It's got to be
think.
something newer than that. And so I'm going to say Tic Tacs.
Tic Tacs?
Yeah, I think Tic Tacs
What
were
kind
invented.
of a snack food is that?
It's a snack.
If I said go into Kroger,
Uh-huh.
grab yourself a little snack, and you came out with Tic Tacs, I'd say, how long are those going to hold you over for? You
It's
say,
like-
not very long.
Probably like a calorie per Tic Tac.
The answer I was looking for, what some people texted in, was Doritos.
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 I thought those were invented by Mr. Frito-Lay.
You would think. Apparently created at Disneyland.
Ah,
I found out this morning, too.
I guess Mr. Frito-Lay
Must have
visited
been-
Disneyland.
He must have been
yeah.
hanging out.
Maybe he had like a little stand or
He
something.
must have.
At first, that's how he got to start.
Let's get some rapid fire going. Walt Disney won 22 Academy Awards for short subjects, but what film earned his only Best Picture nomination?
I'm going to have to say Sleeping Beauty.
I was looking for Mary Poppins. What about this one? What was Mickey Mouse's original first name?
Of course it is Steamboat.
Steamboat?
Yeah.
I was looking for Mortimer.
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 Thought it was Steamboat Willie.
Nah, I'm telling you, I got the answers I got here, man. I got Mortimer here, which isn't my favorite.
No.
What
No
about
wonder they
this?
changed it.
A lack of what kind of character in many of Disney films is a symbol of the loss of someone very close in Walt Disney's life?
Parents.
I'll give you a half right. Lack of mothers in Disney films symbolizes the loss of Walt's own mother, Flora.
So he lost his mother.
And then he made Bambi.
And yeah, he's like, I'm going to kill the mother in every movie. So you think about it.
He has the right to do that, though.
He does. And, maybe there's something to that because can you argue with his success?
Hits every time. I mean, it hits the heart every time.
Actually, you think about it,
Could
Disney
be a symbol of a success.
having some hard times right now. Maybe it's because there's not enough dead mothers in their movies anymore. Just a thought. Need to
More-
get
more
back.
Bambi.
They need to get back to their roots.
More Bambi.
It's useless knowledge.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. RadioU.
Now, this is a big question here. Is it time to be cringe on first dates?
Cringe.
Seems like something picturing you that you would avoid.
I would try not to be cringe.
Let's see, the tides are turning against you. A new survey of 2,000 Gen Z and millennials, people that would be the most likely to be dating, says that 73% are no longer afraid to reveal things about themselves that might be considered cringe on a first date.
That's not good.
You don't think it's good?
I would say keep that to yourself on the first date.
If you want to find a love, you got to find somebody that loves your cringe.
Yeah, but you don't need to introduce yourself with the cringe. I feel as if you could probably highlight some of your non-cringy aspects. I'm sure you have lots of things about you that's not cringe.
But don't you think the cringiest parts of you are what makes you you?
It does. And I think you being like goofy is good. But I think being goofy on a first date, I mean, it's just, yet again, you're trying to make a first impression. Like most of the time, you and your significant other at some point will get to the point where you're like goofy around each other and real cringe. But that's never the first date.
I don't know. 74% also said they find it attractive when someone on a date reveals cringy things about themselves.
I don't believe that for a second. They're setting you up for failure. I'm telling you right now.
This
study says
these
this. I'm telling you it's not true.
3 out of 4 people that you're likely to be on a date with are saying this is what you should do.
No, I'm telling you right now, this is terrible advice.
No,
listen. What is the main thing that we talked about for the whole past year? Ick. Everybody knows what ick is, huh? We all remember ick. Ick is a real thing. Ick is still a thing in dating. And if you do this, you will give them the ick. I'm telling you right now.
But if you give them, see, what's better? What is better? Hiding your ick for a few dates and then all of a sudden you start to really connect with somebody and then they find out your ick and then it's over? Or do you just get it out in the open right away and let things fall where they may?
I think that you need to not lead with your ick. I would say when you're going on a first date with someone, usually they're expecting you on your P's and Q's. This is the best version of you, and everybody kind of understands that. We're all putting on a sort of charade. And then once they get to know your personality, they think you're funny, they already kind of like you, then you can start to become goofier. And as it goes on, the more they like you, the more goofy you can become.
But that's how you are funny and goofy is you have your cringe side.
You got to slowly work that in.
Listen, your first date, it's not a job interview. You've got to be loose. You've got to be loose. You want to be memorable. Like you think about it, it's again, comparing it to a job interview. If you go to a job interview, there's going to be 17 other people that come in and out the door and give almost the exact same answers as you. That could be the date too if you don't let your cringe side show a little bit.
You can be fun and nice without being cringy. You can be fun and nice without being icky. You can be fun and a good time without being embarrassing. And I think on your third date, you could become more embarrassing. But yet again, it's so quick. They're so quick to X you. They're so quick to say, that date really didn't go that well. He was kind of weird. I would say the first date, be a little more reserved, still be fun, but don't be your weirdest self.
I don't know. The numbers are stacked against you. The numbers don't lie.
I'm going to go off based off my personal experiences is what I'm going to go off of, not this study that I'm telling you I would never trust in a million years.
I'm saying if you're playing the odds, there's a 3 in 4 chance you want to be cringy.
I'm telling you, there's a
3 out of 4 times it'll be a positive. Apparently,
I'm telling you, there's a 4 out of 4 chance. This study is fraudulent.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, RadioU.
There's a common belief, I think, that around this time of year, as we approach the holidays, that depression and suicide increase. Have you heard, does that sound like something that makes sense?
Well, we are getting closer. I don't know if it's December, but I would say
It is December. We're in December.
No, I know it's December. But I'm saying, I don't know if December is like the height of that. I would say for me, I think the saddest time of year for me is probably after the New Year festivities because I have fun during Christmas time and I have fun during New Year's Eve. But then you get that January to March dark, cold time period that really stinks.
I agree with you. February is often the worst month of the year.
Yeah.
So it's fortunate that it's the shortest. But there is some kind of something to the idea that as the holidays approach, especially people I don't know, I think this actually might be a little outdated, but the families where it's the dad feels like he can't provide for the family or something, so he gets all down or something like that. Or, that's something that comes up in TV and movies a lot. And it actually is true that news outlets are telling us this. that the holidays lead to more suicides. But in fact, and I would say this is good news, is that December is the month of the year with the fewest suicides.
We call that fake news, huh?
That's exactly right. Even though, so this is a new report. December is the month that has the least suicides, which is good news. However, this report also states that in 2022 to 2023, news stories that connected holidays with suicides, 40% erroneously supported the myth that suicides increase at Christmas time.
40% too many.
That's right. So it is fake news. And you have to wonder why. I don't think news, well, I don't know. Do you think they're lying or do you think they're not being fact checked?
Yeah, probably just not informed, I assume.
They're
because
just like, this sounds right.
Everybody says that you should be sad during this time of year, which is going to make you more sad.
Yeah.
But if all the news is just happiness and Christmas spirit, Santa, elves, fun Christmas time, then you'll be happier.
Yeah. Wait, what?
If it's happy Christmas stories, you're more likely to be a little happier. But if they're telling you you're supposed to be sad.
But here's what I think. I think there's a lot of pressure at this time of year to be happy and go lucky and cheery and spirit. And then like now we've kind of got a push and pull of like the people that are like, no, you don't need to be that way at all. In fact, I'm a Grinch and I like it. And
you're supposed to be sad because it's dark outside. It's cold.
And the holidays, it's just consumerism or whatever. So there's, I think you can find your home on either side of whether you like the holidays or not. But yeah, I don't know why the news, it really comes down to, I guess they're just like, well, it sounds like it could be right. And so we're not going to fact check it, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't speak very positively of 40% of news outlets.
Not here.
If they're doing that. But we've got the facts right here. All that said,
for once,
I do think even though December, it's a positive, it's the month of the least suicides, that doesn't mean, of course, that, that nobody going through this time of year is just like, oh, I hate it. Like, this is the worst for me. I don't know if I can make it through. And that is something to remember, too, that here you talk about it as statistics and numbers and whatever, but that doesn't mean, like, you're not a statistic. People are individuals. And so whatever you're going through this time of year is still real. But I think this is important to remember, too, that God doesn't see you as a statistic where whatever you're going through, whether it's fits in with the narrative, fits in with the stories, the news stories that are going around, whatever, it's real to you. It matters to you and it matters to God, too. And you can be real with God and tell him what you're really going through. And he's going to understand that. It may not be what the majority are going through, but that's fine. Jesus doesn't see you as the majority. He sees you as you, and he's there to help you through this time of year and every time of year, every single day. If you're ready for that, some support, some love from God, it's right there waiting for you. Say, hey, Jesus, I'm ready for that. You want to know more? Check out RadioU.com/free gift.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Hudson, I recently have been delving into older Christmas movies.
What do you mean older? Like black and white or?
No. Like 1989.
Okay.
Is the one that I have at hand here. And that's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
One of my favorites. Possibly my favorite Christmas movie?
No.
Question mark?
It is not. Is it actually?
It's, can't say because Choice Champions is Christmas movies.
Oh, true.
In 2 days. So,
well, let me give you the rundown here.
Gotta play my cards close to the vest.
Because I've got an unpopular opinion. I'm not a huge fan of the Christmas Vacation movie. And the main reason is Clark Griswold. He's kind of a hard character to root for. He's the main character, but he's kind of a jerk the whole movie.
A jerk?
He's a jerk the whole movie.
I don't know about that.
What are you talking about?
He's just trying to give his family a good Christmas.
Listen, it seems as if the whole movie, people are going to hate this. I know they're going to hate this, but I'm going to say it. I mean, I have many of examples. Endangers the lives of an entire family. When he's on the icy roads, leads to the family car, going off the ramp. Trespasses on a private property to chop down a Christmas tree.
That happens.
while holiday shopping for his wife, flirts with a sales clerk to the point where he's unable to recognize his own son standing next to him.
Wow. That's a tough one. But
yeah, it is.
He's
That's kind of his whole thing in every movie.
he's trying to hold himself back, and he can't do it. There's a real duality to him.
He's like fantasizing about other women the entire movie.
But he's trying to not.
He's trying so hard.
He's really trying hard to not.
He's trying to be a good dad.
Yeah.
Just seems
He never
as if
follows through.
He is trying hard.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, failing miserably. Not the best example of a movie/TV dad.
Well, yeah, but you're ignoring so many of the positive aspects
Let's
of
hear
him.
some of them.
Well, I think the top one is that he helps out Eddie and his family get Christmas gifts for the kids. That's a real nice thing to do.
Uncle.
That's a real nice thing.
That's a nice thing. Yes, a nice thing.
He's doing the lights. You think he's doing the lights and putting in all that hard work?
Who's he doing that for?
For everybody. He wants to give him a good family Christmas. He wants to give a good family Christmas. You have to have lights for a good family Christmas.
It just seems like he's always just trying to, check himself.
Uh-huh.
I would say not the best example of TV/movie dad.
He's flawed.
He is definitely
He's flawed, but that makes him relatable.
To some people.
Yeah.
To a certain kind of father.
Womanizers.
Yeah.
8772 Radio U. I guess we can have a twofold question here. One, is Clark Griswold a bad dad? Two.
I love this question. This is such a good question.
2, yeah, rate Clark Griswold as a dad. 2, would you want him as your dad? And 2, who's another underratedly bad TV or movie dad?
Oh, there's some good ones for that.
Some less recognized for their badness.
I've got some good answers for bad TV/movie dads. Because I feel like the dad is such a controversial role. You could either be like the really loved one,
yeah,
or you're the worst dad of all time. There's no in between.
We'll find out what people are saying. 8772 Radio U.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Isaiah claims that Clark Griswold. I mean, how would you characterize it?
What am I claiming?
Yeah, what's your claim exactly?
I would say maybe in the movie, not great role model.
That's fair.
Not a great role model, father figure.
I don't know if I'm going to debate you on that. I don't think that means he's a bad dad, but
I think some of his characteristics, he's puts his family in danger. Fantasizes about other women. A little bit sketchy. A little sketchy.
So the question is twofold. Is Clark Griswold a bad dad? And who are other TV or movie dads that get too much praise and not enough criticism? Max agrees with you, but just generally, he just doesn't like Christmas Vacation. It looks like he says, I got to go with you on that. Haven't been a fan of it since it came out. Regina says, all of your points are good points, and I prefer happier Christmas movies, even if not realistic. And she thinks he's a terrible dad and don't like that he's celebrated. Glad he's not her dad.
Get him.
However, Matt from Kansas says, I think he's a good dad. He is trying to provide good things for his family.
He is trying.
That's what I think. I think Matt hit the nail on the head here. He's not perfect.
Oh, he's not.
His heart is in the right place.
There are things that he's doing that are okay.
He maybe sometimes I could buy that he becomes a little selfish, but I think by and large, his heart is in the right place, and that's what's important. Some other overrated, negative examples of dads in TV and movies. What else you got?
I've got just bad dads in movies.
Okay.
I'm going to lead it off with what might be the worst dad. That's Thanos.
He's pretty bad.
I mean, he tossed one of his daughters off a cliff.
Yeah.
Needless to say, Thanos, maybe the worst. How about this one?
Not exactly celebrated by most, I
No.
would say.
What about this one? Harry Potter folk. Lucius Malfoy. Bad dad.
Probably. I'll take your word for it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you don't do Harry Potter.
Yeah, what is he, like a centaur or something? Or-
This one you'll get. Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
He's tough, too.
And
He's
I wrap it up with one of a movie that I really adore, Austin Powers, Dr. Evil. He creates his own son even though he has one.
Yeah.
He created Mini-Me when he already has a son to begin with. But people would say Dr. Evil trying to be a good dad, maybe. There could be an argument there for Dr. Evil.
I think, that difficult to make.
Difficult to make argument.
Yeah.
But I think of the four, he might be the best dad.
But I don't know. Norman Osborn, there's you can find some sympathetic aspects for him. Here's a good one. Have you ever watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Frank, Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Bad dad. Although,
lovable character.
lovable, yeah. But you want to talk about flawed. He is, well, they say here, he's more interested in being a part of a group of friends than actually being a dad to his kids after being out of their lives for so long. Many are bringing up Homer Simpson, of course. Homer falls very much in line with Clark Griswold, actually. Wouldn't you say?
There's similarities.
There's a lot of similarities. Homer is a little better at controlling his, he's a little more faithful, I guess, to Marge.
Yes, he is.
But he's also stupider than Clark Griswold.
I've got a good one. This is controversial. Matthew McConaughey, Cooper, and Interstellar.
You think that's a bad
Is he
dad?
a bad dad? He left. He said he'd come back. Did he come back?
That's a classic dad dilemma where their ambition doesn't square with their love for their family, and they have to pick one or the other, and they can't get the balance right. The age-old problem.
I mean, what would you think? What would Murph say?
Yeah.
He came back and she was on her
Murph.
deathbed.
Murph. Can you hear me, Murph? Oh, I need to watch that
Interstellar,
again.
Matthew McConaughey, great movie.
Yeah. Bad dad.
You should have never left.
Possibly
You should have
bad
never
dad.
left. What can you say?
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Check out this brand new study from the University of Adelaide and University of Essex, where they found something that you would never account for that is actually aging you more than being unemployed or smoking or being obese. This one simple act that many of us engage in, and that is renting.
Ooh, everybody's renting.
Yeah. They've the research here from these two universities found that renting has worse effects on your biological age than, as we mentioned, being unemployed, obesity, or being a smoker, a former smoker. Those things add about 1 to 1.5 weeks of age to your life per year, whereas being a renter, that's like close to more than 2 weeks it ages you every single year.
That's no good
Yeah.
because you can't help it.
I guess,
For a lot of you, there's nothing you could do.
If you're in a situation where you're renting, the alternative is what exactly?
Buying a house?
Yeah. But I'm
Moving
saying
back in with your parents?
that's like saying the alternative to riding your bike is to buy a car.
It's not like a choice.
Yeah.
You know?
If
Like if I could,
yeah.
I would. But I can't.
Yeah.
Or I would.
So the alternative is like couch surf or, give it all up and live in a tent. You have to rent, so you're automatically aging yourself additionally by doing that. Now, the reason they say that they think that it ages you so much is because even if you have, and I think this is more prominent in Australia where it looks like where some of this was done, And in Australia, it's more common to have like 6-month leases. So if you're living constantly thinking like, I have to either re-up and probably have my rent raised, or I need to move again in 6 months, like constantly having to move adds quite a bit of additional stress. And I think that's where it mostly comes from. Because for me, like I rent and I've lived at the same place for years now. And the landlord very, like we get along and likes us. And so it's not a stressful situation of what if something breaks or whatever. But if I was wondering, well, when my lease comes up next, do I have to move all over again? And you're doing that over and over and over again. That does make sense that would age you quite a bit.
Yeah, the whole renting thing too, and like people just having to pay rent every month.
Yeah.
I'm sure that alone as well is stressful.
Yeah, I guess because rent too, like you're thinking for many people, you're paying your rent. It's almost equivalent, since it's so expensive, to having a mortgage.
It is, yeah.
And it's a little more higher stakes. Is it? Actually, I guess not. Mortgage is higher stakes. Yeah, pretty similar. But at least mortgage, you're more settled in. Whereas at renting, yet again, it's kind of an unknown. There's always the possibility of an unknown of who knows what's going to happen. So,
yeah, it's not ideal. Renting is not ideal. But I don't know if you've heard, but houses apparently expensive.
Yeah,
that's what I've read. I don't know. They are expensive.
They did not add in here how much buying a house, trying to find a house ages you, because I imagine that's probably a lot as well. But at the end of the day, it sounds like the best thing you can do for your health, if you want to live a long life, stop renting.
Live in your car.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Figure this one out. In Japan, there is a bar that has gained some popularity because it is the one bar where you can go and pay one of their waitresses to slap you hard in the face. Diabolical. And people are doing this. And you might be wondering, first of all, how much does it cost to get your face slapped? About $2.
At least it's cheap.
It's affordable. Although I do it for free, quite honestly. You asked me to, I guess. Maybe not. That is kind of weird.
Nobody wants you to slap them.
Yeah. But your next thought, I think, for many people would be like, oh, is this some kind of like weird, like some creepy guys?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, slap me. There's a video here. It's guys, gals, people of all kinds and ages are partaking in receiving of the slaps from these Japanese waitresses. They say it all started, I guess, one weird customer paid a waitress to do it.
Always starts with one of them.
Yep.
They always kick it off.
And it went from there. It just took off. A bunch of copycats started coming in, wanting their faces slapped. And so now this bar is known for it. Why?
I don't know. Like, you think about the first person.
Mm-hmm.
You think about the first guy. It was like, you think if I gave you $2, you think you could slap me in the face? That guy, a little bit out there. Now that it's being advertised as a service, going in there and getting slapped, not something I would pay for. Don't get the phenomenon.
Yeah. It's very confusing. It's also, although they say, and there is video evidence to support this, men and women, locals and tourists, they all come in and get their faces slapped. However, it is important to note, I think, that the waitresses, it has to be female waitresses that do the slapping. That's one of the conditions here at this place. And here's another wild thing. They say they started this like, I guess one weird customer came in and had suggested it for some reason. But this is when business, like, they were in danger of closing.
Oh.
Things were not going well. But now, so it must have been like, so in other words, this place must suck, except for the slapping.
$2 at a time.
Yeah.
They're keeping the doors open.
That's right. But now there's so much demand that they've had to increase their staff and hire extra waitresses just to complete all the slappings they're asked to do.
Well, maybe they need to get rid of the food, it sounds like. Sounds like the food must be trash.
Yeah.
And just turn into just a place you go and get slapped.
Yeah, focus on what you do well, which is slapping people.
You think the place down the road, like their competitors, are like, maybe we should start slapping.
Yeah.
If they can slap,
Anyone can do it.
yeah, if down the road, if they're making money slapping, imagine what our waitresses could do. The kind of money they could put up slapping people.
Should we open this is the first of its kind in Japan. The market is wide open. Obviously, it's clearly taken off there. Should we open a bar called Slappers and start hiring people to slap people?
I don't understand. I don't know if that would work. Does that work?
It works here.
But why does it work? Why do people want slapped in the face? I don't understand. I don't understand why you would go in here and want that. Is it a feat of strength?
Maybe
is that important over there?
Are they training for the Power Slap League? Because that's taken off too. The Dana White thing.
So, I've seen that.
This is on. Obviously these are not UFC style fighters. These are just your average Japanese women, but they pack a punch.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like it's just their regulars coming in every day and being like, "All right, slap me again. I'm sitting down here at noon like I always do. One more slap. Here's my $2.
It's slapping time.
Mm-hmm.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. RadioU
has announced that although they are retiring, they will continue on performing live shows as digital avatars. Isaiah, how familiar are you with the band Kiss?
I'm familiar.
How many songs do you know?
Of Kiss?
Yeah.
I'm sure I know a handful.
I can think of 2 myself. Detroit Rock City, because it was in Rock Band, and obviously I Want to Rock and Roll All. Everybody knows that song. They just performed their final show as a band at Madison Square Garden in New York City. But at the end of that show, they revealed that although the characters of Kiss, Space Ace, Catman, Gene Simmons, although they are not going to be performing live anymore, they are now going to be immortalized as digital avatars, and they unveiled these digital avatars that will be continuing on. You'll be able to go to live Kiss shows where Kiss themselves won't be there, but the digital avatars will, and they perform out in the audience.
And I imagine when they announced this, because, you think about Kiss, their fans, a little bit of an older crowd.
Yes.
And so I imagine when they announced that they were going to live on as digital avatars, the crowd went, come on now. Know your audience.
I don't know. It looks like the crowd is pretty hype.
Oh, are they?
You could say their fans are older. Their fans are also very dedicated. And Kiss has done a remarkable job of merchandising and marketing themselves over the years.
They have. They kill that. That's their thing.
But by the way, they filled up Madison Square Garden, so they're doing something right. Do you think, though, people will be interested? Could this be the future of concerts?
I'll tell you.
Digital avatars?
This is kind of how I imagine it. I can see it now.
Okay.
50 years from now, they got this weird, dark indoor stage set up in the corner of Universal Studios or some random weird spot in Vegas. People pay $10 to go around, stand in this dark, smelly room while watching virtual Kiss play a medley of their old songs. Most people buy a ticket just to go inside and cool off because it's hot outside.
That's how you picture this.
This is how I picture this.
But think about this, though, right? Let's say you're a big let's say you're NF.
Okay.
And most of your money probably comes from touring, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I would say he probably
makes
makes
a lot of it
does. Most of his money that way. And he's only one man. And he's also got a family he needs to hang out with. He's also got to spend time writing and making new music. So what if he could either tour simultaneously, you put on 2 tours at once, or who's to say 2, 3, 5, 10, where your digital avatar is at all the other ones and you're just at one? Or why even tour at all? Why not just send the digital avatar out there?
Back in my day, son, the artists used to be at the concert with you. It was crazy.
But that's so old school.
It wasn't a picture of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, you could obviously just stand in your own home or have a party and listen to their music, very similar. But the difference of the concert is the artist is there. You get that connection with them. You can see them. They're dancing. It's a performance.
Yeah.
Instead of just the music video and then you out there dancing with people. It seems kind of bad.
I don't
Not
know.
with it. And are people, I mean, obviously people want to see older artists live, but there's lots of artists that have passed. And if you saw them live, that's like this nice pin that you have on your shoulder. If you saw the Beatles live, if you saw Elvis live, think of all these people that are never going to get to see them live. And for me, if you say there's a virtual show, does that make me feel special? Not like they saw it. It's different.
Not the same, but I don't know. If you gave me the chances, like you could never see the Beatles live, but you could see, or Elvis or whoever, but you could see their virtual avatar. I think people are going to consider it. Especially, look at this. Kiss is not the first band to do this. I'll wrap it up with this. ABBA has already gone forward with this. Their shows that they do with their digital avatars, ABBA, change your mind.
Give me. Yeah, I know it.
$2 million. A week.
Very impressive.
A week.
But listen, I feel like with ABBA, that's like you could put on a disco and have people out there dancing, and then that's just on in the background. It's kind of like a fun little concert where I feel like Kiss doesn't really fit that same vibe. Kiss is like you're rocking when you're in there.
I think part of it is the band, but here's maybe what we have to consider. Part of it is what you just mentioned with ABBA, the atmosphere.
The nostalgic disco for ABBA works better, I think, than
I think, listen, what better example than Taylor Swift? You think Taylor Swift does a digital avatar? You think people aren't going to pay an arm and a leg to go see it?
I hope not.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.